Hello YouTube, welcome back to Happy Hour. Today you might recognize I've got a little bit of a different setup going on around me. Haven't posted a video in a couple of weeks because we've been moving house. So anybody who has moved house ever in their life knows just how much fun it actually is. But we're in now. I've got my little man cave kind of set up, and the nice part is I can have my camera and all my gear kind of permanently set up, so I can just kind of flip on a button and hit record anytime I want to do a nice Scotch video. So that being said, today I'm going to do one of my kind of relatively newly found and quickly becoming one of my favorite distilleries, and that is the Arran distillery on the Isle of Arran, or from the Isle of Arran. And we're going to do the 10-year-old single malt today. So Arran single malt. If you guys had seen, I've only actually done one other video from Arran. Actually, this is only the second bottle I've had, so it's odd that I would say it's quickly becoming one of my favorite distilleries. But both of the two that I've bought, the Lacranza Reserve, which I've done a video on, which really just surprised the heck out of me, especially at that price point. But it was just fruity and yummy, and it was a higher ABV, and it was just really, really good value and just good whiskey. And similarly, so this guy too. So this is the Arran single malt 10-year-old. This again is distilled on the Isle of Arran. Arran is a relatively new distillery. They're kind of interesting. They're doing some interesting stuff. They're, the tin, I think this is kind of a new bottling. So I got this at Binny's. If you check out Binny's, if you're in the Midwest or in the Chicago area specifically, the bottle looks a little bit different on Binny's, or at least on their website. This is the newer bottling. I guess they've changed their marketing or their advertising or their bottling to this kind of new style, kind of fatter bottle, which is cool. I don't really care that much, but whatever. It looks nice. It's kind of classic. But one of the cool parts is these guys, 46% ABV and big giant writing on the tin, non-chill filtered, natural color, distilled and matured in Lacranza, Isle of Arran. So yeah, $59.99, $60. Maybe $60 is a little bit on the steep side for a 10-year-old whiskey, but I think non-chill filtered, no color added, 46 ABV. I think that's a pretty decent price. And again, really what matters is what's in the bottle. And so far, I have very much enjoyed it. I haven't had that much, but you can see I got ahead of you and started a little bit because it's kind of that good, and I really needed a Scotch today when I got home. So let's pour a little bit more, and we'll get into it. Yeah, so similarly to the Lacranza Reserve, and I wish I still had some of that, but that bottle did not last long at all. It was that good. It's young. I'm really understanding, I think, young whiskeys, I get a lot of apple notes, fresh apple notes, and I really like it. And I didn't know that was from young whiskey, but I've had maybe 4 or 5, kind of 10-year-old whiskeys or less, and I really get that apple, fresh green apple note. So I'm kind of leaning towards maybe that's what my nose picks up on with younger whiskeys, but I like it. It's just fresh and fruity. It kind of reminds me, I think I might have said this with the Lacranza Reserve. It's like a summer whiskey. I never really thought of whiskey as much of a summer drink in the past historically, but with this kind of fresh apple, it's just kind of fruity and light. It's not that kind of, and I don't mind a heavy sherry or even some peated whiskeys in the summer, but that kind of a little bit of a soury green apple note, just, kind of light and fruity, and it reminds me of summer. So the apple notes really jump out. I get another sweetness. There is a little bit of honey and some other general sweetness, but there's a really kind of a fresh, fruity apple. It just smells really nice. I don't know let's see what they say. The classic Arran, rich honeyed and malted, soft vanilla and coconut character, citrus fruit freshness, orchid fruits, and hazelnuts. Okay, wow, there's a little bit more going on in the title and the description that I'm getting, really, but I definitely get kind of a citrus note, and I get that fresh apples, get a little bit of vanilla, definitely the honey, maybe like a honeysuckle. it's just nice. It's just nice and fresh. And again, at 46 ABV, it's right where it's at. It's not sharp at all. Very little heat. A little bit of heat on the at the end. You can get a little bit of the barrel character. A little bit drying on the end, but just fruity and sweet. Not as sweet as the La Cranza Reserve. Maybe a little more tempered. I think the La Cranza Reserve was quite young. I don't know how old, but maybe 6-8 years if I'm guessing. This is just a little more well-rounded, a little bit closer to kind of what you'd get maybe out of what you would know as a standard, 12-year-old bourbon cask finished whiskey. Yeah, I didn't even look at what is this finished in. I'm assuming it's all bourbon casks. It doesn't say. I'm sure if any of you have had it before, you will tell me in the comments, which would be great. But I don't think there's much, if there's any sherried whiskey in here. I get that kind of ex-bourbon barrel flavors out of this. It's really nice. It's great. So $60. A little bit on the high side. Like, there's not a lot of 10-year-olds out there. Well, Glenfarclas 10-year-olds, I think pretty equivalent. And it's about the same price. Again, in my area. Other 10-year-old with Glenmorangie, that's cheaper, but I don't know if it's quite as good as this. This is a little more complex than what I would call Glenmorangie. It's definitely a step up from your Glenfiddich 12 and Glenlivet 12, I think. So if you like the lighter, fruitier whiskeys, and you want to try something new and you haven't tried Arran or anything from Arran, I'm going to try to buy everything I can from these guys, because these two really have really kind of... There's been a couple distilleries this year that I've touched on and I haven't done a review on, but Arran being one, Deanston being another one, which is kind of knocking it out of the park for me. Old Pulteney is an old classic, but it kind of reminds me of, it's in that kind of genre, the Deanstons and the Old Pulteneys, and if you like that kind of stuff, I suggest giving it a whirl. I don't think you'll be disappointed. So I would give this, considering price, I think this is a solid 8.5 out of 10. I'm pretty happy with this. I could see buying this, kind of having this as kind of a staple, not super complex, nice and fresh, easy to drink, a nice after work, no messing around dram. And hey, we'll see. It wouldn't surprise me if it even I get some new notes out of it as it kind of opens up and as I kind of acclimatize and get used to the bottle a little bit more. So yeah, 8.5 out of 10 for me. Enjoy. Thanks for watching Happy Hour. If you liked what you saw, click subscribe, and yeah, stick around for next time. See ya.